Good evening, and welcome to our fourth class together of the Rabash Spring 2010 Intermediate Semester. Wow, got that off. And welcome back after the Congress, our first meeting after that. What an exciting Congress it was. We'll talk about it in a second. But first, before we do anything else, as usual, let's set the intention for this meeting, because that determines everything that we're going to get out of it. A person has to take the responsibility over his thoughts and over their effect on the people around him. There is an absolute dependency in both the positive and the negative, which is called arvut. I'm everyone's guardian. If I don't take on this responsibility, then the others won't be able to attain the spiritual. And if in turn they don't influence me with their good thoughts, I won't be able to attain the spiritual either. Since the entire system resembles a geared mechanism, if one wheel stops, the whole system ceases to function. Preference cannot be partial. Arvut has nothing to do with your wealth or health. It's not some kind of a guarantee or insurance or a bone put away for the future. Arvut is when I anticipate rising above the material world, thus pledging to think about the others. A very appropriate intention, since it's talking about this responsibility for others around us to think about them, pledging to think about the others. This constant concern for the others, and this is the heart of the lesson today, the key concept in today's meeting, and all of this concern for others, where we are pledging to be their guardians in this respect, their guarantor, so to speak, is called arvut. It's the translation of the word arvut, and we're going to be covering this in the last two classes of this semester. It's an actual article written by Baloslam. So the last two classes will be covering arvut, and everything that we're doing now is these small parts, small pieces of the puzzle, in order to make arvut a reality. So, hang on. Okay, so as usual, if you have any questions, please post them right away, and if there's any questions about last week's exercise, which was, this is from the article that we read last week concerning love of friends, on page 289, question number 4, the last part of the article. Should everyone know his friend's needs, specifically for each friend, so he would know how he can satisfy them? Or is it enough to practice love of friends in general? Okay. So if you have any questions right away, anything about the Congress, about the exercise we did last week, if you read ahead, anything about this article, start posting. The Mega Congress. Wow. What a wonderful, amazing, energizing gathering it was. Everybody's so upbeat, so many connections all over the world. It's just an unbelievable example of how people in all these countries, just think about it, coming from different languages, backgrounds, whatever you want to call, all the different variables that are different between us, overcoming, going completely above them, completely ignoring them, and uniting for one single goal, the adhesion with the Creator. It's just, I don't know, no words. We had, in Toronto, in our Toronto Center, we had two new students from the Learning Center who came to a physical center for the first time. And you could see the change, the transformation over the whole weekend. When they arrived, first day, they were timid, not sure what was going to happen to them, where they came to. But towards the end, they were singing, dancing, and studying intensely, and you can see them, they included, they knew exactly what it's all about. All that studying sort of prepared them, provided them with the background and sort of the sketch. And just coming in and being with the group and going through this mega congress sort of was the filling in of the paint. And they came away with these amazing discernments, and they know it's there's nothing like actually feeling and tasting these states and knowing what to expect next. And talking about next, what we're going to read today is an article by Rabash. It's called "They Helped Everyone His Friend." It is on page 290 of this book, which I'm sure you are familiar with. It's a short article, but very, very poignant and very powerful. Why? Well, what we know so far, what we've covered so far. We know the group is important, that it is the place where the light is revealed, where we make our spiritual advancement. Number one, it's a laboratory where we experiment, where we practice, where we try to bestow, play that game of bestow, get back all sorts of discernments, self-analysis, revelation of ego, revelation of evil, and that gives us a basis from which we can begin to emit that heartfelt prayer, which is the key to attaining anything. So without that kind of environment, they cannot be that prayer. The prayer cannot come out of empty space. We don't have it within us. It has to come from that kind of a discernment. Number one. Number two, we need strength. We need to be influenced. We need to be inspired. We need to get the desire. Our desire is just a small point in the heart, and it's not enough for us to advance, to stay on target, to stay on the path. And that's why we need the group also to support us, to keep us going, to give us that strength, that force. Just like in our first article that we read in class number 1, where we've gathered today to establish a society so that we want to overcome our ego. I'm not quoting word for word. And we need that great force. We want to acquire that great force in order to overcome the ego. And that comes from the group. And lastly, the group, the connections between the friends is exactly where the light is felt. In our mutual intertwining of our desires for the spiritual. And we've covered how that vessel that we build is the connections between friends through love your friend as yourself. And last week we've talked about it extensively of how we establish these connections. There was a lot of questions. What does it mean? How do I establish it? So today, with this article, we're going to go a little bit deeper and investigate exactly what is this connection. Why do we need this connection? How does it work? Because at the end of the day, you can ask yourself. Well, we can all ask ourselves. Okay, we had this Congress, for example. Everybody was happy, jolly, dancing, singing, having meals together. On the outside, for someone who is not familiar with the goal, with our intention, it was just a party. Okay? And we talked about how this is what we need in order to help each other. This is the force. We get something out of it. We get some kind of a force out of it. How? Why? Why are we getting something? What are we getting out of it? And how does it work? You know, we could have each one of us had a party on our own, gone to a different event, and had a good time there instead of being in these centers or watching virtually. So what is it that makes it so special, so unique, that this kind of activity that on the surface seems totally normal, just like out there in the corporeal world. So let's read the article and delve into this topic. So you will notice that the article name is called "They Helped Everyone His Friends." They helped. What kind of help do we need to give each other? Why can't we do it on our own? So let's read. We must understand how one can help his friends. His friend. Is this where there are rich and poor, wise and fools, weak and strong? But when all are rich, smart or strong, etc., how can one help another? So the focus here is not helping each other in the corporeal sense, because the goal, the aim, is not to improve our corporeal situation. Rather, it's a goal that is somewhat abstract and hidden and concealed from us. We're not exactly sure what it is. And in this respect, we need some kind of a system that will keep us on target and give us the energy, the motivation to keep going, even though it's concealed. Because it's totally above our sensors. It's above our corporeal motivational factors. It doesn't touch them. Okay, so we need that kind of a system that works on a completely different frequency, if you will. Let's continue. Paragraph 2. We see that there is one thing that is common to all, the mood. It is said, a concern in one's heart, let him speak of it with others. This is because with regard to feeling high-spirited, neither wealth or erudition can be of assistance. Okay, so what kind of a mood are we talking about? What is this mood? And what is this concern in one's heart? What are you concerned for? And what is this feeling high-spirited? Why wouldn't we feel high-spirited? We had a good party. You can always have a good party, so you naturally will feel high-spirited. So is this what it's all about? Just to have a nice party and feel high-spirited? Okay, let's continue. Rather, it is one person who can help another by seeing that one's friend is low. Okay, what does it mean to be low? It is written, one does not deliver oneself from imprisonment. Rather, it is one's friend who can lift his spirit. Again, talking this emphasis about lifting someone's spirit, and then one does not deliver oneself from imprisonment. What imprisonment? What's going on? What is this article referring to? Again, if we didn't know ahead of time that this, there's a certain goal, like I mentioned at the beginning, that is concealed, that is completely different than what is commonly out there. All the targets of more wealth, more power at work, political power, whatever it is. This article doesn't seem to be applying to it. Okay, so it's all directed in attaining this goal. But again, why do we need this, help from friends and lifting spirits? Why would we feel low? So let's continue. This means that one's friend raises him from his state into a state of liveliness. Then one begins to reacquire strength and confidence of life and wealth, and he begins as though his goal is now near him. It turns out that each and every one must be attentive and think how he can help his friend raise his spirit, because regarding the mood, anyone can find a needy place in one's heart which he can fill. Again, the same thing. What is our friend depressed? So we have to help him Well, why doesn't he just take an antidepressant, or have a drink, or watch some kind of a movie? And why do we have to be attentive and think about how one can help his friend raise his spirit? So all of these questions, and I don't have any questions from you. So please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. The more questions, the more we can get out of this article. So there's a lot of questions. If you step back and look at it, most of the questions revolve around this concept of the mood. What is it all about? Are we supposed to make our friends feel good just for the sake of feeling good? So, to get us started, to put us on the right track, we're going to watch a clip by Rav Michael Leitman from a lesson that he did on this article from May the 25th, 2010. It's a 5-minute clip, and Rav Leitman is going to clarify a little bit for us what this mood is all about, and then we can begin to go further into this. What are all these questions all about, and how does it all tie in together? So let's watch this clip, and I'll see you back in 5 minutes. And I want your questions right away. Don't wait till the end of the clip. Ask them right in the middle of the clip. You must have something. Okay, let's go.
We learn with you. We're not speaking about a beastly mood of good or bad. Rav writes pleasure and suffering. Rather, we are speaking here about truth and falseness. So it's possible I'm in suffering, and along with this, in truth, it's possible that I feel pleasure and yet I'm in falseness. It's important what makes the determination. If I'm in falseness and I have sorrow from this, or that I don't care about the falseness, I'm in happiness and joy. I have pleasure and I'm in happiness. Or that I have suffering, yes, but what's important to me is that I am in truth, that I have revealed it in the light revealed to me now. That's called the wicked that are revealed. And then I'm in such a happiness that I now have a mood of life.
The worst is when I'm in suffering and have no goal at all, meaning I'm completely detached from the upper part, which is truth and false. This is called a full seats where eating is flesh. But if my suffering related to the lie, then even if I'm in such big descent, soon I'll reveal them as a complete wicked, and so on. Meaning the question is, to what extent are we working in truth and false? And it's less important for us how much we're moving through those states of pleasure and suffering in our feeling. So this is an intellectual discernment, and this is emotional discernment, or clarification, scrutiny more correctly. Therefore, when he speaks, one help thy friend help, they help everyone's his friend. It doesn't just speak of the mood that you have to care about the friend, just to be happy. He speaks about how can I help a friend in the scrutiny of his inner work that I really should not. It is forbidden on me to enter that. However, externally, I can help him to quickly scrutinize the states, and then if one influences the other in this and this and that manner, then in such way we're speeding up time, we're hastening time. Meaning, there is no element here of just joking around and having good mood. Rather, this is a very serious matter to transfer oneself from an emotional scrutiny to intellectual, goal-orientated scrutiny. Let's write it this way: intellectual and goal-orientated scrutiny. And precisely in that, they help everyone his friend. Meaning, our general work in the group can bring us a speeding up of our development in a very significant manner, and beside that also the ease of development, because the main thing is if the spirit of the group is in that we are all checking ourselves only according to truth and false. Beside, we don't care what happened with our desires, with our lives, with our ordinary life, with this body, as much as we withhold ourselves in the goal-orientated scrutiny.
Welcome back. So a very powerful clip where Rav talks about how we have two sort of discernments, spheres where we can measure ourselves. One is sweet, sour, or pleasure, pain. In our emotions, in our sensations, how do I feel? Do I feel good or bad? And it's just simple existence where we are just intertwined with our desire, and if essentially whatever the desire feels, that's what we do and fulfill it. The other state, which is where we begin to come out of that sensation of just trying to focus on sweet, sour, and we begin to scrutinize truth, falseness, i.e. bestowal, reception. And that's already a second, higher level of existence above the sensational, and that's already directed towards the goal, where sort of regardless of how I feel, how my ego feels, or what picture the ego paints for me, I'm going above it, going above the ego, and I'm trying to focus and work in the realm of truth, falseness. Evaluate myself, i.e., am I bestowing or giving? And the key here is that each one of us, that's our work, that's how we advance. And the key here is that that's precisely where we can help each other. If we and Rav mentioned it, that we sort of have to stay from the sidelines and help each other do that in a scrutiny. Because at the end of the day, when we overcome the ego, we get the power from this group, we get the influence, but still there's a certain amount of work that we have to do on our own and go above it. So that's where the work is. And in a way that begins to answer some of all these questions that we asked. The mood. Why is the mood important? Well, let's do a little background. Exactly what is going on here, and then your questions. There's a lot of questions. Very good. You guys started doing the questions. Thank you. So let's do this sort of a preliminary work into it, and see why the mood is so important, and how this rising above the sweet-sour calculation is necessary. We've studied that, and we will discover this, that we are we have our own spiritual. Each one of us has a unique spiritual DNA, or chromosome, or genes. It's a spiral of Reshimot. For now, let's just use 1, 2, 3, 4. Very simple. Okay, and I'm just taking a particular, and I hope you can see this. Let me start over again. Sorry. One, 2, 3, 4, and it continues. For in our example, 1 is just, for example, just when you have the awakening of the point in the heart. You begin to try to fill this desire, you search, you come to Kabbalah, take the fundamentals course, go on to the intermediate course. The intermediate course tells you you need a group. You listen to it, and you come to a group. You begin to immerse yourself in this kind of work. And so this would be Reshimot number 1. You realized it properly. You found the methodology of how to realize it. Then, because you've realized that number 1 Reshimot, you are moved on to Reshimot number 2. Reshimot number 2. You come to a group, and you immerse yourself in the group. So there you have the I, and you have the others, like you, group. And we begin to study together, begin to get involved in dissemination, come to various Kabbalistic events, such as a congress, so on and so forth. So here, in this Reshimot, you've realized your Reshimot 2. You've exercised your freedom of choice, and you've came to the group. Yes, I'm going to go ahead with it. Then, because of this realization and the attraction of the light begins to shine, and it awakens the next Reshimot. You've now realized 1 and 2 properly. It awakens Reshimot 3. Well, we've talked about how each Reshimot is a greater level of egoism, a greater desire to receive for oneself. In this Reshimot 3, your ego has now grown. And the group, let's say, has gone on a particular path of bestowal, of development. So here is Reshimot 3, level 3. This is where the group stands now. You, on the other hand, because of your ego, have separated from the group. And remember, the group is that thought. To bestow, to attain the Creator, purpose of the goal, purpose of creation, equality of form. So you now stand here with new level of ego. What does that mean, this new level of ego? Well, at this level of ego, you're not so sure about the group. You're a bit confused about the methodology. You're beginning to question, why do I really want to bestow, connect? I'll find my own way. All of these sort of inner disturbances that come specifically in that area where you connect with others, where you are motivated to follow the path. So in effect, your ego has created a rift between you and the group. Remember, the group is the image of the Creator. It's the next level of bestowal. On the level of Reshimot 3. And your ego has now grown and you do not agree with it. You cannot come to, you don't want to come to terms with it. It's uncomfortable for you. It doesn't give you anything. The next level of pleasure, of bestowal, doesn't taste so good. Tastes like boiled newspapers. You don't want it. That's your ego. And that's the state of low. This is what it means, that the friend is low. It's not that he's just low and is depressed, nothing's working out in his life. Low with respect to the goal. Before the goal was in sight, everything was great, everything was clear. We're going to attain it. All of a sudden, something happened, and that something is the Reshimo. A new Reshimo appeared, and I have a greater level of ego. I want more for myself, and I cannot come to terms. And this rift is the force of repulsion. Just like a magnet that attracts, you also have a repulsive force. It just doesn't let you come together. And this is what you need to overcome this level of ego. How do you overcome? And you may have heard of the terms of right line and left line. And this is this development is along the right and left line. You have to come, in order to continue, there has to be some kind of a middle ground where you still retain the ego, you don't eradicate it. We never eradicate the raised ego. That's not our methodology. Because if you eradicate the ego, you just fall down back to basically Reshimo 1 or 0 even. But you want to remain on Reshimo 3, so you need this I, you need this ego. The key is to go above it. You want to find some kind of a strength force in order to overcome this. Well, what is going to propel us, motivate you, anybody, to overcome this? And that's a desire. That's the importance of the goal. If I have a desire for anything, people can do, whatever desires there are, people can do crazy things if they have a desire. That's what I need. This is what this Reshimo 3 level is missing. I need to, above my ego, my new level of 3 ego, I need to find a desire. I need to acquire some kind of desire for the spiritual, which will be stronger, which will overpower my current ego. And this I get from the group. This is the mood that the group can give me. Okay? The group cannot do the work for me. They can never sort of come here and push me over. They meet me halfway. They come to here, and from this middle line, so to speak, they are cheering on, they are advertising the importance of the goal, they are trying to inspire me, to give me hope, trying to awaken me, just by being there even, and by their thoughts, and by their actions. They awaken and trying to ignite that desire within me. And as soon as the desire awakens, and there's also a certain amount of work on my part in faith above reason, I begin to realize, yes, I have my sensations. I'm reminded, because it's very easy to fall into your ego and just forget and think, whatever happened yesterday, I have no idea what I was thinking about. Bestowal? Are you crazy? What is this bestowal? I don't feel good. It's nonsense. But if someone comes to you and reminds you, no, remember, there's this sweet sour, and then there's false truth. The truth is that the key is to bestow. And that's why Rav, in that article, he kind of, in that clip, he said, it's more of an intellectual calculation. So so your friends, the group, through their thoughts and all these actions around you, they awaken within you. They remind you of this, and you begin to think it's within you. And that's what he means, that they give you an opportunity to make those scrutinies. you can begin to work and see, because the group as a whole is there and saying, look, we're here, we're supporting you, we're on the same path, it's important to us. They're creating a system, an environment where you are encouraged, that you feel safe. It's right to let go of the ego. That there's a net there that will catch me. You know those, I don't know if you're familiar with those corporate exercises for executives, where they go on a retreat and they go through all sorts of climbing tree exercises, rappelling, falling back, and the other executives are trying to catch you. Team building exercises. So in effect, this is what it is. The group is telling you, yes, the goal is concealed. It's hard. We don't know exactly what it is, but we're there with you. Okay, you're not going to be left on your own holding the ball. Okay, we're going to be there with you. And all of this gives you the strength, gives you the inspiration to go above your ego and come to the middle line and reunite with the group again. Reunite with this thought of bestowal on the next level. So in effect, by this action, you are building a kli, a desire, a lack, this connection with the friends that is filled by the Creator. So this is what it means by the mood, and how it is impossible to make it without the group, and how the group influences you. So in this context, it all makes sense, right? And guess what? Guess what's going to happen? Well, number 4 is going to awaken. And you probably have an idea what's going to happen in number 4. With number 4, the ego is going to grow even more now. And there's going to be even more separation than before. Right? If the separation was if this is 0, which is convergence, total convergence, now, if this was a separation on level 1, now, sorry for confusing you, now you have separation on level 2. Okay? And the group is here, on this level of bestowal, of level 2. Imagine there's a scale on this side as well. But your ego is now grown again. And the same thing happens again. Okay. And just like with, for example, weightlifting, to really understand how strong you are, you have to add the weights and lift more and more weights. Same thing here. To overcome this repulsive force by which you connect with the Creator, it has to increase. The ego is increasing, and then you begin to work. And that work is the kli, is the vessel. That desire to wanting to come back to the middle line is the vessel. And that's why it's so important to have the mood, imprisonment. Right now, it makes sense. The ego is imprisonment, the separation, falling into the sweet sour calculations. That's imprisonment of the ego. Your friends, only one does not deliver oneself from imprisonment. The friends do. Rather, it's one's friend who can lift his spirits, give you that hope, desire, strength to overcome your ego, to be able to see that there's something beyond the ego, above the ego. Okay, there's a lot of questions, so great. Mavis from San Diego. How can I help a friend when he's dead? Thank you for your guidance. Well, if he's corporally dead, that's a particular Reshimo, that there's nothing you can do about it, and the new Reshimos will awaken, and then a particular level of ego will awaken again, and then that new ego will form a new body. So I'm presuming you're meeting that the question is that your friend is dead spiritually, in terms of he has absolutely no desire for the goal. Very important, and Rav mentioned it, is the inner thought. You will not believe how much these inner thoughts of constantly being concerned, I'm concerned. Just imagine you're a parent and your kid, I'm a parent. whenever I'm at work, wherever I am, I'm always thinking, what are my kids doing now? Oh, make sure they do this, make sure they did that. Clean up the room all the time, constantly. It's in my mind. Never goes away. Same thing here. It's a state where Kabbalists are in constant contact like that with each other. That's the kli, that's the common concern. That is really real. So that's number one. We are interconnected, intertwined. Each one of us has a little piece of the other within us. So if we ourselves begin to think in the right direction, that piece within us that is connected to our friend will influence him. It goes without saying. On the other hand, in addition, we also are influenced by our environment, the corporal environment. So you continue to study in front of him. You continue to display how important the goal is to you. By example, leading by example. It will rub off on your friends. No questions about it. You don't want to, interfere, pry too much into their lives. But hopefully beforehand you've developed a system where you are able to contact them and remind them, talk to them. Sometimes you may call them and not even talk about Kabbalah, just maybe crack a joke, and just something to change the mood. Just being there, silently even, that already is a great influence. Good question. Roxanne from Connecticut. Hi, Roxanne. Is the imprisonment staying disconnected from the friend and not connecting with other points in the heart? The connection will strengthen his desire to walk the path of loving others? Yes. You need that disconnection first. First, you need to be in an opposite state. And it's nothing wrong with revealing this new reshimo where you're disconnected, where you're imprisoned. It is absolutely necessary. Without it, we cannot advance. That's the path of going of these states up and down in terms of the goal, right? If it's directed towards the goal is now important, clear, in front of me, or it's not. I don't want it. That's low. That's disconnection. And with every reshimo, it's going to be a greater and greater separation and more work to do. And yes, that creates the kli. If we feel that lack of disconnection, I can't connect. And out of this clear, precise discernment, an absolute tangible sensation within us, from this sensation we can emit the right prayer. The Creator only hears that particular prayer of connecting. I want to connect, I want to be able to bestow. That's the prayer that the Creator will listen. And it will only come if you are first thrown out of the way. Okay? Good question. Sam from Sydney. Wow, Sydney. Thank you to everybody. I was always wondering if the Creator loves us all equally. Yes, it does, because there's no any parts within him that, if you can talk that way, that are different. Okay? It's absolute perfection, constant, 100% infinite bestowing. Okay? If so, why is it that those he loves, he troubles? This implies he loves me more than others. No. He loves everyone. It's just that based on your part of the soul, your reshimot have awakened earlier. And you're going through the path first. But eventually everybody has their particular set of spiral of reshimot, and yours just happen to be developed earlier, and you're going through them first, sooner than others. And by the way, you have a responsibility for others now. Good question. Look, I'm not denying it that this responsibility could be scary at times. But if you realize that you are connecting with a very, very great power, and that you have the group with you, you go through these states very quickly, very easily. It's just a very, very smooth right. And the troubles, the troubles kind of seem troubles in that sweet sour dimension. But because your reality is now in truth falseness, that sweet sour sort of you see for what it is, that it's just a theater, right? And if you connect it to the group, always have that creator, the bestower in front of you, the goal. There's none else beside him. It's very smooth sailing. It's a path of love. Crystal from Michigan. Hi, Crystal. Sir, you stated that we need a system to keep us motivated. Can you give us an example of a system? The friends. And friends, the books, a set schedule for study. Very important also to be involved in some kind of a small dissemination task. Very important, because when you're disseminating, you're effectively passing on the light to others. So the light, in effect, the light can never come into us just like that. It only comes, we only feel it when we take it in order to pass it on. So that first task, that corporeal task of dissemination, is the first sketch in our world of that receiving in order to bestow. It's very important. So if you have that's the system. Immersion in the group, studying, a set schedule for study. Let's say you can only do 2 evenings a week for an hour. That's fine, as long as you set them aside and say, this is what I'm going to be doing, no matter what. And then when you are sort of have these new Rishimoto awakened that take you off to the side, if somehow you have that system that keeps you anchored, it's much, much easier to overcome. Felix from Dallas. Hi, Felix. How is it one's friend helped? By our intention, i.e. a request for the Creator to help our friends? Yes. By everything that we've talked about. That mood, that inspiration, that goal, that sensation that you give over to your friend, that it's safe. I'm going to be here with you. I'm also committed to this. That, like we read in their intention, you're becoming responsible for them, their guarantor, guardian. Sam from Sydney. Hi, Sam again. Could we have Rav's drawings in English, please? Good idea. Good point. We'll try. I'll raise it with our technical staff. Thank you for the comment. Lana from California. Hi, Alana. Hi, Alana. How does it become possible to feel the Creator's infinite love through other people and their benevolent intention? Through other people, meaning that we connect to them through this work, and we, through the attraction of the light, through the seriousness of playing this game of bestow, we begin to feel their desires. And actually, crossing the mason means that you feel the desires of others. Exit. That's the exit from oneself, and the exit from oneself has to be somewhere. Has to be some tangible desire, because we always work within the desire, right? We have to fill the desire, because only within the desire we feel the Creator. But it cannot be within our own desire. So the consolation is, the only other option is the desire of others. So we actually feel the desires of others, their yearning to come to adhesion with the Creator, and in that respect we are connected with them. And that desire to fill our friend's desire, that's the lack, that's the vessel, and then the Creator fills it. Let me see if I answer. How does it become possible to feel the Creator's infinite love through other people and their benevolent intention? By connecting to their desire. you take on their desires and sort of implant within yourself. And that's actually the altruistic nature that you acquire. And you want to bestow, you want to fill those desires all the time. You still take care of yourself, just to keep your body going and your needs, but you worry about others, and then vice versa, everybody's worrying about you. So just that system is foolproof. Victor from Homestead, Florida. Hi, Victor. How can we help our friends scrutinize their state with our knowledge without knowing their state? They are not supposed to speak about their state. Exactly. So no matter what it is, and Rabash says it right here, it turns out that even each and every one must be attentive and think how he can help his friends raise his spirit. Because regarding the mood, anyone can find a needy place in one's friend, which he can fill. So no matter what, you are working constantly, just like the Creator is constantly bestowing. That's what we're aiming for. You're constantly concerned about your friends. You don't really need to scrutinize your friends and analyze them and question them. Lie down on the couch. Let's see how you feel. How do you feel today? How was your day today? No. You know what your friend needs. Whatever it is, in the corporal, that's not it. Everything, it's all a symptom. The cause is the lack of the light. That's what your friend needs. He needs the desire, the vessel. That's what you can give him. Hence, you're constantly working on their mood. Whatever you do, study, actually. Now we're coming to study for ourselves. We're doing all these things for ourselves. But it begins to gradually, in this game, to turn around, to reverse, and you're becoming, I don't feel like coming to the lesson, I'm tired. But then you think, wait a second. But how are my friends going to perceive it? If I'm not there, I'm sort of letting them go. I have to be at the lesson for them so that they can see that the goal is important for them. I'm going to inspire them. Okay? It's completely different. See what I'm saying? You're thinking differently now. So you don't really need to dive into their brain, their thoughts. And that was the answer to number 4, the exercise from last week. Should everyone know his friend's needs, especially for each friend's, so he would know how he can satisfy them? Or is it enough to practice love of friends in general? There's your answer. Because the bottom line, we have this one system, one single thought. And you just have to help everybody connect to that thought. Okay, it's a good question, and it's a good point to watch our second clip where Rav is talking about how we can give this hope, inspire this mood over to our friends. So let's run our second clip. I hope I didn't surprise our operators.
Through his friend, they help, and then we're all running together. And we don't have to wait for anything, no matter what states, day, night, nothing. Only to think first and foremost that the friends will have high spirit towards the goal, towards love of friends. Even egoistically, then I will also receive from that. Even in such manner. At least to work in one direction. Later on, through that, the light of reform will come, and a person will think about bestowal in itself. Yes. Abash writes about it in articles. What should we demand of the Assembly of Friends? He writes the following: everyone should try and bring the society the spirit of life and plenty of hope, and bring energy into the society, that everyone would have the ability to tell himself, now I'm starting a new page in the work. Meaning that prior him coming to society was disappointed from the advancement in the work for the Creator. Rather now society put into him the spirit of life and plenty of hope for the force of overcoming, because now he feels that he has the ability to attain wholeness, and all that he felt that there's a huge mountain before him and he cannot conquer it, brother. And indeed, these are strong disturbances. Now you feel it as nothing and zero, and all that you receive from the force of society, because each and every one attempt to bring spirit, a new atmosphere in society. If there is no such concern, society isn't burning, does not advance. It advances in hard steps, as a heavy person that hardly dragged himself step after step. It is all depends on that mutual concern for everyone to have the spirit of liveliness through his friend.
Wow, there you go. So continuing the answer to your question, Victor, how can we help our friends scrutinize their state without knowing in their state? All you have to do is shine on them to remind them of the truth-falseness realm. Just to remind them. And that gives, so in other words, you keep going. You keep this group going. You have to put in everything you have into this bestowal, this goal. This has to be full steam ahead. And it has to be in front of your friends in a very subtle way. He sees this, compares it to his state, and this gives him the inner scrutiny. Then he can make a comparison. This is where I am. I'm in my ego, I'm feeling bad, but I need to go into that state of what is the right thing, what is the truth? Because my group is right there, and they're doing that, whereas I'm here. See that? It's a practical laboratory where you can measure where you are compared to the next level where you should be. That's the scrutiny. So in other words, you just do your part, and your friend will see it. You don't have to scream and shout into his head, "Hey, you see what we're doing? Whereas you're in your ego. Shame on you." No, you don't do that. Never. Just quietly pursue your path. And inside, you keep a very, very strong, powerful concern for your friend. Thank you. Roxanne from Connecticut. What state are we working, true or false? Isn't that where friends can help us to stay focused on the goal? Yes. That's the state of bestowal. It's that where we're playing that serious game of bestowal. Of studying, disseminating, coming to all sorts of events. And that inner focus. You know, if someone is very, very serious about a goal, people around them feel it. You don't have to go out talking and advertising about it. Your actions speak louder than words. Yorgi from Mexico. If I don't know the internal state of my friend, how can I help him? I think we just answered this question, and that clip by Rob was very, very powerful, directed towards this. Miguel from Mexico. Hi, Miguel. Are we talking about the corporeal friend or the spiritual ones? We're talking about only those that have the points in the hearts. For now, because we need that reciprocal relationship, that we work with them. Otherwise, there's no example. If you're on your own in a corporeal, well, you don't even have the system. You have no comparison, where to go, where to head. You can imagine all sorts of things. Whereas here, you're connected and influenced back and forth. Roxanne from Connecticut. Again, Roxanne? Okay, I think this is the same question. Alana from California. Reaching the third level, which qualifies of ourselves, which are changeable shift to reflect how the environment impacts us as individual. I think you're meaning the third Reshimon, or the next Reshimon. It could be just the next Reshimon. Reaching the next Reshimon, which qualities of ourselves which are changeable shift to reflect how the environment impacts on individuals. Well, you have a scrutiny that you were in this sort of state where you didn't want to do anything, that you couldn't agree with any of the path of the methodology, where you were confused, where you didn't want to connect with your friends, and now you do want to, above that sensation. and you're willing to, and you want to continue above, still feeling that state of disconnection, but you have the strength to go above it and continue to work further, more, despite what you felt. Daniel from Brazil. Oh, I think it's the same Daniel that we've met before. Hi, Daniel. Is this because when one reaches a new level of spirituality, there is also a new level? Yes, definitely. Very good point. After realizing 3, we go to 4. It's completely different. It's a completely different sensation. It's a level of an ego that you've never encountered before. We'll talk about it in about 2 classes. I think it's going to be in the class make yourself a Rav and buy yourself a friend. It's a state of a new quality of concealment. Yes, very good point. And you're lost even more than before. So you need your friends to guide you, to show you that despite of what you're seeing, this is the goal. So you can begin to make your inner work and discernments. Cynthia, I hope I don't go over time. Please remind me. Cynthia from Virginia Beach. Cynthia, I'm going to be in Virginia Beach very soon on my vacation. Oops. But I'm still going to be connected to the group. I can't. No one can get away from the group. It's impossible to continue living. Will this process of repeat itself over and over again as you progress? Yes, continually till the very end. The very last step, you reveal. The very, very last step, you reveal the full oppositeness of the world of infinity. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he went through this state that was called Shimon from the market. It's a state where he fell into such low corporal, whatever, egotistical state, which was totally, completely opposite the Creator. And by overcoming that, you propel yourself towards the Creator. Zadikim from New Jersey. Hi, Zadikim. What if the group does not welcome a new member? What does the new member do? I can't imagine a group not welcoming a new member. I just have to wonder what kind of a group it is if they don't welcome a new member. The group has to practice absolute equality. The only exception is that maybe a person is not familiar with the concepts and they kind of want you to study a little bit further, and that happens. And we also sort of advise anybody who contacts us, finish this course first. If you have any questions, call us. We'll answer them. But for your benefit, it's better to finish the fundamentals. Then you're more than welcome to come visit us. Okay, come to and join us. But otherwise, the group is the thought. How can a group not accept anybody? Unless the person is not willing to accept this path, this methodology, and act according to the rules of the group, because the group has certain rules. They want to maintain that everybody focuses on the methodology and does not try to sort of drag the group on the tangent. So, for example, we don't in our groups we do not transact any kind of a business with each other. We don't sell to each other, like insurance policies. We don't lend money to each other. Because as soon as you introduce that kind of a factor in it, it's corporeal, and we sort of become concerned for each other just so that, for example, I want my money back. And I want my friend to stay in the group. Because as soon as he's gone from the group, I may not get my money back, right? So you can see how that can spoil the work, the true spiritual work between us. Jamie from Bolivia. Hi, Jamie. It seems very hard and too much to do. How many lives it will take me to achieve the spirituality? Could it be done in one? Yes, you've got. If you're awakened, you have an opportunity to do it in this lifetime. Yep. As long as you keep with this methodology, because it accelerates Reshimot very, very fast and makes the path much, much smoother. It may seem hard, but that's your ego. Okay, so there's room for you to work already. Great stuff. Go above it. It's hard. I don't feel comfortable. I'm suffering. See, sweet sour calculation. Go above it. Truth, false. What is the goal? What should I really be aiming at? Valeria from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Dear instructor, I beg you please answer Zaditkin question. How to behave in a group to contribute and not to disturb? Goal. Study. Try to do dissemination. You can joke, you can socialize, but it's all with this intention behind it to inspire and give your friends a good mood. Even telling jokes is a good idea sometimes if your friend feels bad. If you have the intention, the joke works. The intention behind every action changes the action completely. It's night and day. You can say a joke without the intention. You can say the same joke with the intention. Will have completely different effect on the person, on your friend. So it's always start. There's none else beside him. Whatever situation I'm in, it's from the Creator. In order to realize my Reshimot, I want to realize it properly. Then act. Daniel from look, it's a process. We're not going to understand it all at once. We're not going to grasp it all at once. We're on the right path. I can see from your questions, this is great. We're getting the hang of it. So just a little bit patience. Kabbalists must have patience. It's one of the major ingredients. Daniel from Brazil. Hi, Daniel again. Is crossing the Machzom the same that love the God will with all your heart? Yes. Love your friend as yourself is the same thing as loving the Creator. Because the Creator at the end of the day is the property of bestowal. You want that, you crave that property of bestowal so much. You want it so much, the desire. You have other desires, but your most powerful, most strongest desire is for that, to want to bestow. We're almost coming to the end. A few more questions. Romeo from Tabasco, Mexico. Hi, Romero. I hope I pronounced the name properly and the name of the city. How can I harmonize my ego in reference with my friends who offended me with their attitude of taking emotional or economic advantage of me? Not sure I'm not sure exactly what the situation is. You should have a coordinator, some kind of a contact with a more experienced group who can advise you in these specific situations. Obviously, we cannot be, just hand over our money. There has to be some kind of a logic to it, reasons. So I can't really comment on this particular situation. Andrea from Argentina. When we talk about the help to our friends, is just in the spiritual way or in the material way? Only in the spiritual. Only with respect to the goal. Not in material. Okay? There is some material, but we're not ready for it because any kind of a material help will completely skew all of our relationships. We're not able to deal with it yet. So for now, leave that aside. And now we're strictly on the spiritual, i.e. trying to overcome that resistance to connect. Giving the importance of the goal. Giving over the mood. Yorgi from Mexico. How can I know that my friend has this desire for the goal? From his actions. If he's coming and does he want to attain the goal? Does he study? You can feel what he's thinking, what his desires are, what his motivation is. And if he's there, then you have to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that that's his intention is, what his intention is. Friends, thank you very much for your great questions and your desires. Here's an exercise that I want to leave you with before I read the announcements. And I hope I can find the announcements here. Good, I found them. The exercise is as follows. Imagine heavens have opened up in front of you, the mahsum is right in sight, and you have the opportunity to cross it, or you can give it over to your friend. Your friend is also there. If you cross it on your own, take it for yourself, no questions asked, nothing. So try to imagine this situation as realistically as possible and ask yourself, what would you do? Would you just do it for yourself, or would you give it to your friend? Okay. Announcements. As usual, you can take your unanswered questions to the forum. Yes, please do. We will be returning to the regular preparation for the study of the Zohar class next Sunday with Avihu and Mutlu. The class is going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 9 p.m. GMT time, so we hope to see you there. Tune into the Kabbalah channel. TV, Kabbalah, .info. Now, there's not going to be a program right after this class, but it's going to be at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, New York time. So that's in just less than 2 hours, after the morning lesson finishes in Israel. It's called, the program is the Inner Stream, it's Generation Z, Generation Z. At 11 p.m. Eastern Time, New York time. Get news of the day and connect with friends around the world. Talk, music, and more. Be part of the action. You can call in, send an IM or video message with the easy-to-use interface on the site. And a reminder that the new fundamentals course starts next week, so next Wednesday, the summer fundamentals course over again. So be sure that your friends and family who are interested have registered at KabbalahLearningCenter.info, our main Learning Center website. Thank you all so much for your questions, for being here, for inspiring me, for inspiring each other. And your next class on Sunday, and we'll meet again next week. And I forgot to tell you that Richard wasn't able to be with us today. He was in New York today. And hopefully he'll join us next week. Thank you all, and good night.